Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've made it most of the way through the roundup. Now it's going to keep on trucking, kicking things off with Ultimate Spider-Man #1. So, in Ultimate Invasion, and then the Ultimate Universe one-shot, we learned that the maker, Reed Richards of Earth 1610, the original Ultimate Universe, had basically founded an Earth and cultivated it to his liking. He had prevented Captain America from being found in the ice. He had helped Loki take the throne of Asgard, thus imprisoning Thor. And he'd also prevented a radioactive spider from biting young Peter Parker. He also formed a council of superhumans mostly superhumans, who basically ran, with whom he would run the world. He also imprisoned that Earth's version of Reed Richards. Among the members of his council were Obadiah Stane and Howard Stark. Stane was much more aware of what was actually of what all was going on, and after his death, Howard learned what was really going on. Howard betrayed the Maker, and with the help of this Earth's Reed Richards, he, as well as that universe's Kang, he overthrew the Maker and seemingly died in the process, leaving behind a suit of armor for his son Anthony. Howard was already quite fond of using powered armor, calling himself Iron Man. And however, Anthony put on his armor and said that he hadn't quite earned the name Iron Man, and so he was going to be Iron Lad. But him and Reed Richards freed Thor, and they also recruited Sif and found Captain America. And the council then utilized a Stark Tech satellite to destroy a massive amount of Manhattan, including Stark Tower, seemingly taking out the Avengers. So we open it's January. Peter Parker is getting up, realizing that he's not getting any younger. Gets dressed for work. Says good morning to his son Ben and his daughter May. Thankfully, his wife Mary Jane made some coffee. Though there's a strange glass orb that May is eyeing, and Peter takes it from her, so it's not a toy. But he's got to head to work, and then there's a thing later. But apparently, Peter got in late, and what's going on? Well, he wants to talk about it, but well, they'll talk later. So, Peter arrives at the office of the Daily Bugle. And J. Jonah Jameson is, of course, shouting for Parker. Greets Peter, but no time for chit-chat. However, it's not Peter that he's wanting to talk to, but rather Ben Parker, the managing editor of the Bugle. Apparently, there's a There's a meeting at 4 that day. Apparently, Jameson just found out that the money is insisting all of management be there, and Jameson's aware that Ben has his thing, and so Jameson's going to try and push it back if Ben needs him to. But Ben says that it won't be a problem and he'll be back. But Peter's basically at the office to pick up Ben. Ben's been ready for 15 minutes, though. Ben wants to know how Peter's life is going, or wants to know why he's late. Though Peter says that it was probably because he was neither on time nor early. Jameson points out that kids these days are clever. Cute and clever, though Ben points out that they're not clever enough to show up on time. Before they leave, though, Jameson pulls Peter aside and asks where Peter's tie is. And Peter isn't even sure he owns a tie. So, Jameson takes off his tie, puts it on Peter, ties it for him, and Jameson says that if Peter wants to know how his uncle's doing, he'd always just ask. Jameson's going to want the tie back. But the thing that Peter and Ben have is a memorial for those killed in the apparent Stark attack. The memorial is being overseen by Father Matthew Murdoch. Speaking at the memorial is Harry Osborn. Harry's father Norman was killed, in the attack, and Father Murdoch states that the heirs stick with memories. And he adds that the one he keeps thinking of, one he can't seem to stop thinking of, is from when he was 7. It was the first time his dad played catch with him. Now, Harry didn't really like baseball, and Norman didn't like baseball, but there it is, haunting Harry. And it wasn't until that day, really, that he figured out why. It's because in that moment, the entire world was just the ball, Harry, and Norman. Like that was the only thing that mattered. Like he was the most important person in the world, and now he'll never be able to make another memory like that with his father. As they all lost someone: mothers, fathers, siblings, sons, and daughters. And like Father Murdoch said, they will live on in our hearts, as those at the memorial will always remember them. Harry adds that he's not sure he'll ever be able to move on or get better, because when he's all alone in the quiet of the night, it isn't angels he hears singing. He hears a ball hitting a glove, screams and sirens, everyone crying out in pain because a part of their future was stolen in exchange. In exchange, all they got were memories. And it's just not enough. He's not sure how any of them should be expected to live with it. But Peter and Ben head back to the Bugle. Jameson is talking with the money and storms out, stating that he quits. Ben tells Peter to go to his desk, keep his head down, and that him and Ben will catch up later. But Ben goes into the meeting and asks what he missed, and Robbie tells him that they've been informed that there's going to be some editorial restructuring at the paper. Apparently Jonah didn't care for the changes. So Ben asks Robbie how he feels about them. And, well, Robbie says that he steers away from maxing out his pension, and he feels like that would be a good idea. But so Ben asks what the changes there are, and Robbie states there are an ever increasing number of complaints from advertisers about some of their more inflammatory content. Specifically, and Robbie apologizes for bringing it up that specific day, they're uncomfortable with how Dog the Bugle is being with while looking into the Stark terror attack. They don't really care for the most recent direction of the Bugle's coverage. So they're going to be making some changes at the behest of both the board and broader ownership in general. So Ben asks how Robbie thinks Ben should feel. And on behalf of the ownership, Wilson Fisk tells Ben that Ben should be pleased at his good fortune. After all, nature abhors a vacuum. When Ben asks what that's supposed to mean, Fisk simply states that Jameson's out, and now the paper needs new leadership, and Ben is the obvious choice. And so he supposes congratulations are in order, as Ben's just got a promotion, if he wants the job, of course, and if he can toe the line. Yeah, Ben's not playing ball. Later, Fisk and his eye patch wearing associate, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Bullseye, Von Strucker, or what, but yeah. Well, Fisk gets out of his car and it's blown up by a man in green and purple armor flying on a glider. The man in the eye patch looks up and gets a look at this green goblin. Elsewhere, a bar that has no name, Ben and Jonah are talking, and Jonah wants to basically start a new news platform. Ben and Jonah both agree that there's one thing they're good at, and that's the news. But, of course, they need a name. Ben kind of sort of suggests the truth, but Jameson laughs it off, saying it's perfect. But, and basically the idea being that newsmen tell the truth. Ben asks if Jonah agrees with that, and, well, Jonah says there are some things he likes to believe in. That he's not going to die alone. That there's such a thing as justice. But in this entire universe, there's only one thing that he knows for sure, and that's that there's no truth in the news and no news in the truth. It's a dirty business. And so Jameson says, how about that they promise not to lie? And Ben says that sounds like a fair start. But Peter shows up, returns Jameson's tie, finds out what's going on, and Peter does ask a question whether or not they have any money to start a new news business, and Jameson points out that's a day 2 problem. Tonight, he's a man who is right with the world. But he tells Peter to think it over as he leaves. And so Peter wants to know how Ben blew up his whole life and in one afternoon and just started a new one. Ben states that his wife is dead. Peter's a grown man, has a family of his own, and given the opportunity, he just couldn't take being in an industry of compromise in one more minute. So why wouldn't he do what he did? It was an easy choice. But Ben detects something more is going on with Peter. Peter says that his wife is very much alive. He has a family and responsibilities that exceed professional bliss. He doesn't know that he can blow everything up just because he wants his life to change. Ben points out that no one's expecting Peter to join him and Jameson, but Peter's not talking about that. So Ben asks if him and MJ are okay. Peter says that they're great. She's great. He thinks she deserves better than him, but she disagrees, which makes it even better. But for the longest time, he thought something was wrong with his wife, that something was wrong with him. Can't really explain it. He just knows that he's been right all along, and he doesn't know what to do. So Ben asks, points out that inaction is action. And kind of make it happen. As Ben leaves, he says that he points out that he loves Peter, and but if Peter's walking around half asleep, anesthetized by his own life, it's time to wake up. And so, Peter returns home. His son's reading A Tale of Two Cities, but it's bedtime, so he's got to, lights out. But Ben wants to finish the chapter he's on. And so Peter says, finish that chapter, then bed. Kids are in bed, and so Peter tells MJ what's been going on, what happened at work, but also just what's going on in general. And he says that he doesn't want to say something that and then not be able to take it back. But he thinks he needs a change. Then apparently when MJ quit starting her own business the previous year, he was 100% on board, and they got bills and kids, and it might be tough. But why wouldn't MJ be behind him? But he says that he thinks he needs to change. But MJ points out she has noticed that he's been walking around for years with a cloud hanging over him. Put a good face on it, but he's not satisfied with who he is. But she asks if things are going to change between the two of them. He says never. And so, as she heads to bed, she tells him simply, "Go get him, Tiger." Peter pulls out the glass orb from earlier, the previous night. It appeared in the apartment, and there was a message on it from Tony Stark, explaining that that 20 years ago, his life was supposed to change. However, that change was prevented, and now he's being given the opportunity to make that change happen now. And within the orb is a test tube, or sample vial. Inside the vial is a spider. Peter opens the vial and allows the spider to bite him. And that is where the issue ends. Really cool start to this, I gotta say. Jonathan Hickman is an amazing writer. I I had high hopes for what he was going to do with the Ultimate Universe with Ultimate Invasion, and my hopes are, in all honesty, even higher now with this. Currently, there are two additional Ultimate titles coming. One is Ultimate Black Panther, which I believe starts next month, and the month after that is Ultimate X-Men, which is being written and drawn by Peach Momoko. So that should be fun. Moving on though to our next book, we've got Spider-Gwen Smash #2. Where we left off, the Mary Janes had been recruited as an opening act for Dazzler's new tour. But turns out that there was a specific reason for that. Dazzler is a stalker, and well, basically they want Gwen to be basically her bodyguard. And Gwen and Dazzler had to deal with the Hulk at the most recent show. On the way to the next show, MJ's not happy about this because Gwen said with the tour that no Spider-Gwen, no Spider-Gwen stuff. And well, now there's gonna be a lot of Spider-Gwen stuff. But Grace goes to calm MJ down. Or Glory, not Grace, Glory. And Betty's has an idea of writing a song about being a bodyguard and potentially killing someone, called Bodyguard Body Count. Although the nachos from earlier hit with Betty, and so she has to use the bus bathroom, and well, yeah. So they arrive at Wrigley. The MJs arrive at Wrigley Field. It's a baseball stadium, so soundtracks would be interesting. But Natasha, the Dazzler's manager, Natasha Romanoff, yes, that, and yes, she's exactly like the Black Widow of Earth 616. Basically states that Gwen's not going to be there for sound check. And so there's going to be some... She goes further into town to a holding of Natasha's. And Dazzler, Lila, Gwen, and Widow do some holographic training, including with a holographic Hulk. Gwen talks to Dazzler about the band problems, and adding that, yeah, sure, she's spent a lot of time on a different Earth, but that's the thing. When she plays with the Mary Janes, when they're actually playing and there's nothing but the music, she feels like she's home. And so they're trying to figure out a way to, maybe ease things over with Mary Jane or with MJ, and for the rest of at the stadium, Rick is let go from the band because of his blackouts. Presumption being he's drinking, with Mary Jane being his replacement. But Pixie shows up, walking in the pit in the area in front of the stage. It causes one of the security techs to basically have a hallucination of his dog, and then attacks Dazzler. Spider-Gwen does what she can to help Dazzler, but then a Hulk shows up, and Gwen gets buried under some rubble. Mary Jane's fine, or MJ's fine, and I'm glad that Gwen is fine too. But Dazzler's shocked that Pixie was the one who attacked and took Lila. And it seems like, and Dazzler feels she's being toyed with because whoever her stalker is, they're taking away everyone around her. Elsewhere, Rick Jones wakes up in nothing but a torn pair of pants by a dumpster. And that is where the issue ends. It's a fun miniseries so far, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it now. Rick's the Hulk. The Hulk is completely unrelated to the overall, the stalker's plan. It's just a funky accident. But they'll recruit Rick to help out, and yeah. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got Miguel O'Hara's Spider-Man 2099, number 2. So, where we left off in this weekly, month-long miniseries, Spider-Man had dealt with some zombies with an assist from Blade, and seemingly managed to deal with them fairly well. As you can tell from the cover, though, we're dealing with Dracula. So, Spider-Man's been summoned to the Moon Crypt. When he arrives, he finds the mummified remains of the Moon Knight, the current Moon Knight 2099, who is a mummy. And so Spider-Man wants to know what's happened to him, but, well, the threat's still there. The threat being Dracula. So, apparently, years ago, Terra Rubra was the vampire capital, and an orbital solar strike happened. Night became day. Dracula did what he could to defend his people, shunting the blast, which left them scorched. Humans cannot survive 6th degree burns. Vampire burns reach a 7th degree, deeper than bone to the soul. The precious few he'd saved loaded Dracula's flesh into a coffin lined with native soil, just nailed beneath the surface of the moon. He slept, mended, while his kind went unavenged. So Dracula's there to avenge vampires. And him and Spider-Man duke it out. But as the fight continues, Spider-Man takes a bite out of Dracula's throat. After all, Miguel has fangs of his own. And he tells Dracula he studied vampires. Their culture is studied in school. You know, Dracula's death made history. So he knows that biting Dracula's throat isn't going to kill him, but it'll shut him up long enough to listen. And Miguel explains that times change. Terra Rubra's attackers were convicted of genocide at The Hague. They were Prussianic zealots. The Free Nations disowned Prusland. Humans took the city 10 years previously, and they gave vampires a world in return. Cynthia Food developed a nanotreatment that turns water to blood. With the need to hunt a thing of the past, the Free Nations chartered a ship with Dracula's revived daughter as its captain. While Dracula was healing, Lilith Drake led the vampires to tomorrow. They're not extinct, they're gone and moved on. And without him. If he wants rivers of blood, the vampire homeworld has oceans of it. Sure, not every vampire followed Lilith to Domus Draconum. Those who stayed follow Earth's laws, which don't favor impalers. If Dracula wants a ride, he's got it. But he wants to know where. Trip to the stars to join the rest of his kind in the future, or to Earth, where he'll be hunted by people who don't take kindly to undying butchers. Starting with Spider-Man. And so, upon the learning of the vampire homeworld, Dracula's like, yeah, okay, let's go. Miguel, so Dracula heads towards the vampire homeworld. Miguel puts Moon Knight's remains in its crypt to regenerate, and he hotwired the Moon Crypt's teleport array. And then back in Nueva York, and then heads to Terra Rubra, where a statue of Dracula still stands. There's a monument memorializing what was done to the vampire nation. But well, Spidey reflects briefly, saying that Dracula, a monster, a revolutionary, a national hero, in the right circles, he's been called the same. Spider-Man's been called the same, and that is where the issue ends. Next up, we've got a werewolf in Nueva York. So that's next week. But that is going to do it for now. I'm really enjoying this miniseries. I really am. Bringing a lot of the Marvel horror characters into 2099, characters and concepts. We had zombie, Dracula. Next, we're getting werewolf. Presumably, a werewolf that's only a werewolf nocturnally. But anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, PayPal, or Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.